Everything you just saw in the opening of this video was color graded with the plugin Dehancer. Dehancer is not your typical color grading tool. It is made specifically to replicate film stocks in your footage. So it comes with a lot of the most famous film stocks already built into the plugin that you can quickly apply to your footage. But it's not the same thing as something like a LUT. Dehancer actually is analyzing your footage to ensure that it is replicating the film stock as close as possible. And while yes, you could use something like DaVinci Resolve to get a very similar look to those film stocks, not everyone is a professional colorist. I know for a fact I am not, and if I spent my time in DaVinci Resolve trying to replicate what I can just do in Dehancer, it would take me a long time. Now, on top of just having these film stocks and being used for color grade, you get control of pretty much everything. For some, it could probably be a bit overwhelming when you see all of these different sliders, but for someone who's really diving into film or trying to learn more, the amount of control you have over your footage in this one plugin is next to none. A few of my favorite things are the halation that you can get from these film stocks and the control you have over it, as well as the film grain you can add. This isn't like normal film grain where it's just an overlay. It actually is replicating the film grain in your footage. Now, the one thing I will say on that is that when you start adding a lot of film grain and you make it bigger or smaller blocks, it does use a lot of processing power. So this is definitely something you want to do at the end of your project. You don't want to be playing through it just because it is going to hog your computer's resources. Now, a few downsides. As I mentioned, it can be a bit complex for people who maybe aren't used to it, and it doesn't help the fact that when you add the Dehancer plugin, at least in Final Cut Pro, it automatically has a preset added that has some of the features turned on. So you have to go through and turn everything off in order to start turning things on one by one and seeing what they do to your footage. Another downside for me is the price. It is a very expensive plugin. It's like over $400. And although it's very powerful and very quick, if you were to buy something like DaVinci Resolve Studio, you can replicate these color effects in there. It just would take you a bit longer unless you learn that platform, but you actually have a higher ceiling of stuff you can do in that platform because that is the Hollywood standard for color grading. And if you don't want to have a different program, there are other plugins, especially for Final Cut Pro, like Color Finale or Cinema Grade, where you could get similar effects, although it wouldn't be as quick. You can get a similar result, and those plugins come in quite a bit cheaper. I honestly do think Dehancer is the best result I've gotten for trying to get that 80s, 90s feel in my footage. And to some people that will make it worth it, especially if you're looking to do a lot of stuff like this and you want to turn it around really fast. That Dehancer is great at that. Also, I forgot to mention, Dehancer does have a mobile app. So if you have any photos or videos on your phone that you would like to run through Dehancer, you can use all the same presets as you're seeing with this video right here. And I think that's who it's targeted at. It's people who are going to consistently want the nostalgic feel, but they want to be able to have a fast turnaround. They want to be able to take digital footage and put it next to film footage. They want to be able to get the closest example of what these film stocks would look like without having to spend a ton of time and resources on it. So if you want to try out the plugin, I have a link in the description. There is a free trial, and if you decide to purchase it, you can use the code Kincaid to get 10% off. Anyways, that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.